Hey folks, I'm Chuck Black. We're doing Quokka Prime from scratch. Today's topic is REST API testing. So the output from doing a Flask run says that it is working. I've written the code. It seems like it's doing okay. How can I test it? Well, one way is I could click on this link that's provided to us in the output of the Flask run. Now this is actually not going to work, and as you can see, it doesn't work. The reason that it's not working is because I don't have the right URL. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. I see the output. It says get, and I'm getting a 404 back. That says that it's not working. The reason it's not working is my URL actually has /hosts on the end of it, and I'm not asking for /hosts. I'm just asking for the basic thing. So what if I change to /hosts? What's going to happen now? Well, the good news is I didn't get an error. What did I get? I got curly braces open and closing. What is that? Well, that's basically my hosts. I haven't added any hosts in there, so there's actually no data. That's my empty dictionary of hosts. So guess what? This actually worked. Now, another way to test your REST API would be using curl. Now, curl is a Linux command line tool that a lot of people like to use for testing REST. So you'll see this fairly often. If you can go to any of these web pages, they'll tell you how to do HTTP gets, HTTP posts, etc. using curl. So let's try using curl right away just to get our data. I'm typing in 127.0.0.1. I could just type in localhost. Remember to put in the port 5000. And guess what? It's not working because curl is not found. This is a brand new Ubuntu system, so I'm going to need to install curl. I'm following the instructions to use snap to install curl. This actually takes a while. It's downloading some more snap stuff first, and when it is done, it will load curl, and then we can use it. Now with curl, we can do puts, we can do posts, we can add data, we can look at data, and there are a lot of options that are available. We're not going to go through that because I frankly prefer another method, which is Postman, but I wanted you to be familiar with it. Now that we have curl installed, I'm going to type it in, and lo and behold, there is my successful request for host. You see the curly braces there, just like we got when we used the browser. My preferred tool for testing HTTP is called Postman. I'm doing sudo snap install Postman to install it, and it is going to install it on my Ubuntu system. Now, Postman is very popular with many organizations and people and teams, etc., who are doing web type development, web applications, which is what we're doing. It allows you to test things. It allows you to save the requests that you make. It allows you to organize them into collections, and it's just all around a very nice tool. So I've installed it, and I am now launching it. The first time you launch it, it tends to take a while, so I've sped this up significantly. These warning messages are just telling you that it's starting. It's no big deal. You'll see the little doodad icon showing that it's starting. And eventually it will pop up and you're ready to start testing. So one of the reasons I like Postman is I can save requests that I've made. So these are collections that are storing requests that I've made when I did 52 weeks of Python and Quokka. I can go back to those later on if I choose to do so. So that's a handy thing. Now I'm going to make a new request. I open a new tab and I just start to type in my HTTP request. I'm doing localhost 5000 as normal, and I'm going to do /host. That's the one thing that we've implemented. I'm doing a get, and you'll be able to see in the output here on the right, the terminal window, you'll be able to see that I do the get. I make the request by clicking send. When I do that, you can see my request came into my server. It printed that out. And down here in the response, you can see the curly braces that indicates the empty host data. That empty host data is, of course, what I expect because I haven't added anything into my web service. That's what we will be looking at next. That is, how can we use put and post to add data to our web server so that when we do a get like this, we will get data back. So how can I get data into our Quokka server? Well, I've actually done that already. I do a post to the same endpoint. This is the data that I'm passing in. I put it in as the body and I specify that it's JSON data, and I put it in as the body and I do a send. Where did I get that data from? Well, I went back to my host monitor and I'm going to modify it so that it prints out the actual discovery information. So that is my print statement. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the behavior of this application so that it doesn't print out the host like it normally does. And now when I run it, what's going to happen is it's going to run and do the discovery and print everything out. I do a Control-C to exit. And now I'm going to do a selection and a copy of all of that information. With that information in my buffer, what I can do now, I'm going to actually get rid of this, and then I'm going to paste it back in. And now I have my JSON data that I can use to do a post. So I have it set up here to do a post. I've actually brought down the Quokka server, and I will be running it again. That's what I'm going to show you here. I'm not running it. So the data is all gone. I'm not storing it in a database, remember. So here we're going to be able to see it when I click send. So I'm going to click send, and that's going to go in. You can see this is a post. I got a 204 back, and it's telling me that it was successful but with no content. That's what I would have expected. Now I'm going to click on the thing that I've saved, which is a GET request, and I'm going to click on send. And when I do that, the response that I get back this time, instead of it being empty data, it's going to actually have all the data that I had added in. So you can see this is the response to my GET request now. So I've done the post to add the data, and now I've done the GET to retrieve it. So these are ways to test your code, your RESTful API code. Postman is one of them. The output looks nice, and you can save your requests. Remember, we did curl. Here's my curl request now. And since we put data in there using Postman, you can see here's all of this data that can come back to you now. So that actually is showing you that that actually does work. And here is just using a browser to get a bunch of information. Those are all possible ways to test. And so, of course, you can just test by writing the code, the host monitor and host display. And that's what we will be doing next. But at least now we know that our RESTful API seems to be working correctly. Hey, thanks for watching this episode on Quokka Prime from scratch. I'm Chuck Black. If you do have questions or comments, feel free to leave a message with this video. I'm also on Twitter at Chuck A. Black. If you want to send email with a question, comment, or just to say hi, the email address you can reach me at is python.52.weeks@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel. I hope these lessons are helping you to achieve your goals towards becoming a real software developer. So long for now, and see you at the next episode.